This is Global Ummah Unity, faith, history, and truth in one voice.
Before Islam was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the world, especially the Arabian Peninsula, was a very different place. To understand the significance of the Islamic message, we must first understand the state of humanity before its arrival. The 6th and 7th centuries CE were marked by chaos, spiritual confusion, and deep social inequality across much of the known world. In the Arabian Peninsula, there was no centralized government or united nation. Tribes ruled over regions, and loyalty to one's tribe was stronger than any sense of national identity or law. Religiously, Arabia was a mix of beliefs. Most people practiced paganism, worshipping idols made of stone, wood, or even dates. The Kaaba in Mecca, which was originally built by Prophet Abraham, and his son Ishmael, as a house for monotheistic worship, had become a center filled with over 360 idols. Only a few still held on to the belief in one God, such as the Hanifs, spiritual seekers who rejected idol worship. Beyond Arabia, the world was dominated by two great empires, the Byzantines in the west and the Sassanids in the east. The Byzantines were Christians, while the Sassanids followed Zoroastrianism. Both empires were powerful but locked in endless wars, draining their people and economies. These empires had their own internal moral and political struggles, and religion had become more about power than truth. In terms of social structure, the conditions were grim. Women in many parts of Arabia had almost no rights. Female infanticide, the burying alive of baby girls, was tragically common. Slavery was widespread and brutal. The poor had no protection, and the powerful did whatever they pleased. Justice was arbitrary, and the weak had no voice. Knowledge and literacy were rare. Only a few could read or write. Poetry was the main form of cultural expression, often celebrating tribal pride, warfare, and vengeance. Yet in all this darkness, there were signs of longing. People were searching for meaning, for truth. Some traveled far to find guidance. Others stayed in solitude, meditating and praying for something greater. The world was spiritually hungry, morally broken, and socially unjust. This was the world into which Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. It was not just a society in need of reform, it was a humanity in need of light. In the next part, we will explore the early life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, the first revelation, and how the divine message began to shape a broken world.
Now let's journey through the early life of the one who would change that world forever, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He was born in the year 570 CE in the city of Mecca, into the respected tribe of Quraysh and the clan of Banu Hashim. His father, Abdullah, passed away before he was born. His mother, Amina, died when he was only 6. He was then cared for by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, and later by his uncle, Abu Talib. Despite growing up as an orphan, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known for his character. He was called Al-Amin, the trustworthy, long before prophethood. He never worshipped idols, never lied, never cheated, and always spoke truthfully. He worked as a shepherd, then as a trader, and his honesty in business gained him the trust of Khadija, a noblewoman and business owner, who later became his wife. Muhammad and Khadija lived a peaceful and respectful life. He was a husband, a father, and a man of deep reflection. Often, he would retreat to the cave of Hira in the mountains near Mecca, seeking solitude, meditating, and searching for truth beyond idol worship. At the age of 40, everything changed. One night during Ramadan, while in the cave, the angel Jibril Gabriel, appeared and commanded, "Iqra," read. Muhammad, peace be upon him, replied, "I cannot read." Jibril embraced him and repeated the command, and finally revealed the first verses of the Quran from Surah Al-Alaq. Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Shaken, he returned home to Khadijah, who comforted him and believed in him immediately. She became the first Muslim. This marked the beginning of the final revelation to humanity. The early revelations focused on the oneness of God, the responsibility of the human soul, the day of judgment, and the need for justice and mercy in society. But with this message came resistance. The leaders of Quraysh, wealthy and powerful, saw this new faith as a threat. They mocked, tortured, and boycotted the early Muslims. Yet despite the suffering, Islam grew, not by force, but by truth, character, and hope. Among the first followers were the poor, the enslaved, and the youth, those who had nothing to lose but everything to gain. They found dignity in a message that said, all humans are equal before God. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, remained patient, teaching through example. His life was a model of mercy even to those who hated him. In the next part, we'll explore the key events that shaped the first Muslim community, the migration to Medina, and the foundations of an Islamic society.
In our journey so far, we've seen the world before Islam and explored the early life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now we conclude this chapter with the emergence of the first Muslim society and how Islam began to reshape the world. As opposition in Mecca intensified, the persecution became unbearable. Many Muslims had already migrated to Abyssinia, seeking protection under a Christian king known for his justice. But the turning point came with the invitation from the people of Yathrib, a city later known as Medina. They were ready to accept Islam and offer the Prophet, peace be upon him, leadership and safety. The Hijra, the migration from Mecca to Medina in 622 CE, marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar. It was not just a change in location, but a transformation of history. In Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, established a diverse, functioning society built on mutual respect, cooperation, and justice. He laid the Constitution of Medina, a revolutionary document for its time, ensuring rights for Muslims, Jews, and all others who lived under the new Islamic community. The Prophet, peace be upon him, became not just a spiritual guide, but a statesman, a judge, and a leader of a united people. Despite continuous threats from Mecca, battles, and betrayals, the Muslim community grew stronger. Their unity was based not on tribe or ethnicity, but on faith and shared values. The Prophet's message of Tawheed, the oneness of God, was not only theological, it changed how people saw each other. No human was better than another, except in piety. This erased centuries of social hierarchy, racism, and tribalism. In the final years of his life, the Prophet, peace be upon him, returned to Mecca without bloodshed, forgiving his enemies and purifying the Kaaba of idols, restoring it to the worship of the one God. By the time of his passing, most of Arabia had embraced Islam, not through conquest, but through character, compassion, and truth. The rise of Islam was not just a historical moment, it was a rebirth of humanity. It gave voice to the oppressed, dignity to women, justice to the weak, and light to those in darkness. And this was only the beginning. Over the centuries, Islam would inspire civilizations, preserve knowledge, spark scientific breakthroughs, and touch hearts across continents. But it all began with one man, one message, and a world that was ready for change.
Thanks so much for watching this video on global Ummah unity. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep uncovering the untold stories of the Islamic world together. See you in the next one, inshallah.